You know what keeps so many women over 50 stuck when it comes to weight loss? It's not the workouts, it's not the food, and it's not even the level of motivation. It's doubt and hesitation. That quiet, almost invisible pattern of holding back, waiting for the perfect time to start, second guessing every decision, sticking with the same routine because at least it feels familiar, even when it's no longer working or aligned with your goals. Those moments of, I'll just wait and start Monday. I'm not quite ready yet. Or what if I can't stick with it? Slowly chip away at confidence year after year after year. So today we're going to put a stop to that. By the end of this episode, you'll understand why you get stuck in pause mode, how the confidence builder weight loss archetype shows up in your everyday habits, and most importantly, specific steps you can take to start trusting yourself again so you finally make the progress with your health, strength, and weight loss goals. Welcome to Midlife Mojo. I'm your host, Lisa DuPree, exercise physiologist, health coach for women over 50, and your guide to eating well, moving effectively, and boosting your energy so you feel strong and confident in this stage of life. If you're ready to move past hesitation and doubt, step into steady progress, and rebuild confidence one doable step at a time, if you've ever felt you need just a little bit more time to be ready, or, think now is not just a good time to start a new routine, or find yourself overthinking every step in your health journey, you definitely are going to want to stick with me. We're going to talk about one of the 5 weight loss mindset archetypes from my weight loss archetype quiz, the confidence builder. If this is your archetype, know this: you are not behind and you are not broken. In fact, the confidence builder has some of the strongest long-term success potential of all the archetypes once you learn how to work with your cautious nature instead of against it. So let me paint a picture. You want to lose weight. You want to build muscle. You want to feel strong and energized in your 50s and in decades beyond. You're willing to work for it. You always have been willing to work for it. But before you take action, before you start, you like to think things through. You gather information, you plan, you research because you want to feel prepared. And more importantly, you want to feel safe before jumping into anything new. And this makes sense, right? Women over 50 have lived long enough to know that the wrong plan can waste your time, it drains your energy, and it leaves you feeling disappointed. And you don't want that again. Sometimes, though, that preparation becomes the pause. The thinking becomes the waiting. And the caution becomes the wall that stops you from actually moving forward. You might tell yourself, I'll just start Monday. I'll just start at the beginning of the month because, this month is really busy. So I'll start when it's over. I'll wait until I can really commit and my schedule is clear and I can do it all. You even might think, I don't want to fail again. So if any of these sound familiar, you're not alone. This is the heart of the confidence builder archetype. So I want to share a quick story because I've been exactly where you are. Years ago, before I ever imagined stepping on a bodybuilding stage in my late 50s, I kept holding back from pursuing bigger goals because I felt like I wasn't ready. I told myself I needed to know more. I needed to be stronger, leaner. I needed to be able to figure out how to be more consistent before I could ever think about training for something that big. So I planned, I researched, I sat and watched other women do it. I kept saying, one day, one day. But if I'm honest, it really wasn't about readiness. It was about fear. Fear of failing publicly. When you get up on a stage to be literally judged by a panel of judges and you are standing there in a bikini, there's a real fear of putting yourself out there publicly and then failing or not measuring up. There was also fear of disappointing myself, trying and just not being good enough, right? Fear that I would put in the work and it just not work, right? And so it wasn't until I took it was literally a small step, and that was ordering a training program. And that actually started to shift everything, not because the plan was magic. It was not. Um, but because it was taking that first step, and that first step showed me, oh, okay, I can do this. And here's why. It's because confidence comes from action, not the other way around. This bears repeating. Like, confidence comes from doing, not thinking, not planning, not research. It comes from getting into action and doing, not the other way around. You don't get confidence before you start something. You build that confidence when you are taking the action. And this is exactly where the confidence builder shines once she gets moving. And so let's talk about the common challenges confidence builders face and see if any of these feel true for you. 1, hesitating to start something new because you want to avoid failing again, or you think you need more information. If I just had the magic missing piece, all this would fall into place. 2, that leads to kind of overthinking every decision. And that could go from choosing the workout plan that you want to do to what to eat for lunch. Overthinking is a big thing because when you start thinking about it, you think you have to figure it out, and then that will alleviate some of the pressure or that fear that you feel. Right. The third thing is waiting for the perfect time. We're just coming out of a holiday season, and I think all of my coaching clients said at some point between like the end of October into kind of mid-December, they all said, I really should have just paused during this time. Or I shouldn't have started during this time, right? Because they just thinking, okay, this is not a good time. They were waiting for the perfect time, which doesn't exist. We both know that. No matter what, something's going to be going on. Life is going to be lifing, and there's no perfect time. It's about figuring it out and making it work for whatever is happening in your life. The fourth thing is staying with familiar routines, even when they're not supporting your goals, but staying with them because they're familiar and in some way it's comforting. Again, kind of avoiding that fear, avoiding that uncertainty. And then the fifth thing is doubting your ability. Just doubting your ability to do it, doubting your ability to stick with it, doubting your ability to actually get the results that you want. And this is really important. These struggles don't come from laziness or lack of discipline. They really are coming from a protective instinct. You're not avoiding action. Think about it as you're avoiding disappointment. You're not resistant, but you're being cautious. And this is your brain simply trying to keep you safe. But that illusion of safety often is the exact thing that is keeping you stuck. And so here are the things that I love about working with confidence builders. You are loyal. You are thoughtful. You are committed. And you are capable. And when you believe in the plan and you trust yourself, you follow through beautifully. You're not impulsive. You don't jump from one trend to the next, and you don't get distracted by quick fixes. You want change that actually lasts, and that makes you an excellent candidate for getting those real sustainable results. Think about it as your caution is not a weakness, it's wisdom. You just need to channel it in the right direction. And so what you need to move forward, 1, is small, doable steps. Not giant leaps, not massive overhauls, just simple confidence-building actions, again, because confidence comes from the action, not the other way around. Confidence-building actions are going to help you gather evidence so that you can really see and believe that you can do it, whatever it is, right? Small, doable steps. That's the first one. The second one is support and accountability, not hand holding, not like coercion or, any of that, just structure and guidance so that you don't feel like you're doing it alone. And third is reframing your caution as intentional and intentional progress. You don't need to be that woman who is like sprinting out of the gate, going full force. You need to be that woman who is rising steadily, and that is powerful. When I work with women in this archetype, we start with breaking goals into tiny, clear steps. Instead of losing 20 pounds, we start with things like eat a protein-rich breakfast. Start every day with a protein-rich breakfast. Walk 10 minutes after lunch, right? So small steps. Or it could be something like just strength train twice per week. Not long workouts, not 5 days a week, strength train twice a week. And so the reason that we start with these clear and smaller steps is when you see yourself winning repeatedly, you see yourself accomplishing those things every time, your confidence grows, and it grows really fast. The other thing that I do when I work with women in this archetype is celebrate small wins. Confidence builders often just dismiss progress because it feels too small. No, we're not going to do that. Small progress is the foundation of everything. You've got to have those small wins. It builds your foundation so that you keep going. And then we want to create safe experiments. I like to think of it as you're researching with an N of 1 and you're designing an experiment, right? Instead of overhauling all of your workout, we're going to try one new exercise or we're going to modify an exercise if it isn't quite working. Instead of redesigning your whole life, recreating your whole routine, we change one habit. And the goal is to feel capable, not overwhelmed. And then it's building a supportive structure. This is where coaching becomes game-changing. You just follow the next most logical step and build trust in yourself one win at a time. If your weight loss archetype is a confidence builder, here is something to take away, to remember. You don't need a giant reset. You need your next small step. Confidence is built through action, not preparation, and not thinking about it. Your cautious nature is a strength if you know how to work with it. You are capable of incredible progress when you feel supported and when you feel safe, and you don't have to go it alone. So if listening to this feels like looking in a mirror, if you feel like you've been almost ready or getting ready for way too long, I want to invite you to take the next small, doable step. And that is book a call with me. It's not a sales call and it's not a sales pitch. What it is, it's a conversation where we look at exactly what's going on, where you're stuck. And then we'll map out your next small steps so that you finally start seeing traction. You can schedule that call at lisadupreecoaching.com/getcoached or just click the link right down there in the show notes. And if you haven't taken the weight loss archetype quiz yet, start there. It takes a couple minutes and it'll give you insight into the mindset patterns that may be holding you back and some strategies that'll help you move forward. You can take the quiz by going to lisadupreecoaching.com/quiz, and that link is also down in the show notes. Knowing your patterns, though, is really powerful. And when you learn to work with your strengths instead of against them, you finally bridge the gap between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Until next time, get out there and keep your mojo rising.